Hello, and thank you for joining us. Today we're presenting our project, KSU Food Waste Solutions. Our team, Aislinn Bellew, Edric Huang, and myself, Ryan Moskovciak, set out to explore and address a growing problem on campus, excessive food waste in our dining halls. Through our research and analysis, we've developed practical, cost-effective strategies to reduce this waste and promote sustainability at KSU. Let's take a closer look at the issue and the solutions we're proposing. Kennesaw State University is facing a serious issue with excessive food waste in its dining halls. A major part of this waste comes from over-preparation and students taking more food than they actually consume. This problem leads to higher operational costs, which can trickle down to students, and it overlooks those facing food insecurity on campus. Our project set clear goals to address this. We researched two potential solutions and we aim for at least a 10% reduction in waste each semester, with an overall target of 20 to 30% in the first year. The bottom line is KSU's food waste levels are unsustainable, but with targeted solutions, we believe real progress is achievable. To determine the most effective solution for reducing food waste at KSU, we developed a clear set of evaluation criteria. First, we considered landfill reduction impact, looking at how much waste each solution can divert and whether the effect is immediate or builds over time. Next is implementation cost, including both startup and ongoing expenses and whether the solution fits within the current dining services budget. Then we examined feasibility, whether the solution requires new infrastructure or policy changes. We also assessed time to launch, how quickly each option could be put into action and what might delay that process. Finally, we looked at long-term sustainability. Can the impact last, and is there potential for a cultural shift among students? Together, these criteria guided our analysis and helped us identify the most practical and impactful solution.
The two solutions we will be presenting today are making students aware and composting. For each solution, we will discuss the landfill reduction impact, implementation cost, implementation feasibility, time to launch, and long-term sustainability. Our first recommended solution is a campaign to make students aware of the food waste issue at KSU. This campaign would consist of signage posted at the beginning of the cafeteria line that would encourage students to only take what they'll eat, as well as publishing weekly food waste data. Based on our research, we predict that we can reduce food waste entering the landfill by at least 20% in the first year. The cost of this program would be minimal, anywhere from $125 to $950. Adding signage would be a simple process. Signs could be created and installed in a short time frame. Additionally, signs only need be created and installed once. Weekly food waste data will need to be formatted in a way that is easy for students to access and understand. There are few long-term costs to maintain this program, which makes it a great choice. The second solution that we will discuss is a composting solution. Compost bins would be installed next to the trash cans in the KSU cafeteria. This placement encourages a smooth transition for students from disposing of food waste into the trash to disposing of it into the compost. This compost will eventually turn into usable soil. This solution has the potential to be self-sustaining, since this soil could be used on campus or sold. This solution does not reduce the amount of food being discarded, but it does reduce the amount of food that goes to the landfill. The initial cost of this solution will be much more than our first solution, since compost bins as well as signage will need to be purchased. It also should be considered the ongoing labor cost of cycling through compost. Bins and accompanying signage will only need to be purchased and installed once. The initial installations will not be time consuming. However, cycling the compost will require ongoing labor.
Comparison. When it comes to finding a solution to these food waste problems, we can solve this by having two methods, having awareness campaign and compost methods. Both sounds good, since they both support sensibility and are effective on reducing food waste. However, there is a difference between on how they work. Having a student awareness is the easiest and at the same time cost-effective solution to our food waste problem, as they can help us reduce the food waste and at the same time making everyone becoming aware of environmental problems. As for compost methods, unlike the students' awareness campaign, they are most time consuming and costly implementation. Plus, they don't reduce the food waste. However, they can repurpose these food waste for other things, such as turning them into a fertilizer. Both solutions are viable strategy for food waste reduction, but their effectiveness depends on how and when they are applied to. We believe starting with awareness sets a strong foundation for long-term culture change, while composting can serve as a meaningful long-term additions. Conclusion. To wrap up our presentation, our research revealed that students' behavior, especially overfilling plates, is one of the biggest causes of the food waste at the KSU. This not only leads to unsustainable waste level, but it also raises the cost and increase of environmental harm. After evaluating our options, we recommended launching a student awareness campaign. This approach is the most cost effective, the easiest to implement, and directly targets the root cause of the students' habits. At the same time, we also believe that composting should be explored as a viable long-term addition to KSU's sustainable effort. While composting repurposed waste, student awareness can help reducing food waste from the start. Looking ahead at the future, we will propose that KSU use surveys and food waste audits to regularly measure the success of this campaign and also identify areas for improvements. Over time, this initiative can help create a long-lasting culture of environmental responsibility across the campus.
KSU has an opportunity to lead by example in reducing food waste and promoting sustainability. By implementing a simple, cost-effective awareness campaign, we can empower students to make better food choices, immediately cutting down on waste without major infrastructure changes. But why stop there? By gradually introducing composting, we can transform discarded food into a resource, fertilizer, that supports future growth. Quite literally, we're not just reducing waste, we're building a culture of responsibility, saving money, and helping students see the power of small actions with big impacts. Let's take action now. Start with awareness, build toward composting, and make KSU a model of sustainable campus living. All we need is a green light from leadership to start making change today.